So, I'm Alaria Spurling,
I'm Cam Todd.
and we're playing Jam for Ghost. We're kind of a dark pop indie duo that has some still pretty heavy alt roots. So kind of what that means, I guess, is really dark, moody, broody, but still catchy. You're still in a good mood. So we have a Facebook page, just Plain Jane and Her Ghost. Our Instagram is plainjane_music.
I'll be a sacrifice. You become my religion. Tell me where the hell have you been? I'm waiting for your song. Don't hold it back from me. I'll let you drag me down. And your bottoms.
The first time I ever fell in love with music was when I heard "I'm So Sick" by Flyleaf. I'm so serious. Like,
yes!
Because like back in the day, like it wasn't super mainstream, I guess, to hear, small females scream into a microphone with their guts, like their full bodies, over some like nasty guitar riffs and drop D. And I was like, this is cool. I like this. I want to do that. You know what I mean? So that was honestly the moment. I mean, I started singing when I was probably 8 or 9, and I kind of had the realization of, well, this isn't the worst thing. I kind of like doing this. And other people had the same reaction, that she's not that bad. So I just kind of kept rolling with it and realized that I love writing. That's the big thing. I love writing music. I love creating spaces and atmospheres, something that people can feel immersed in.
So I started getting involved in music because both sides of my family are like super musical. My uncle is a like singer guitarist guy, and my great grandpa was like when the talkies became a thing. He lost his job when that happened because he used to be the piano player for silent movies in the theaters and everything, which is super funny to hear. But like, it's always been a big part of my life. I have like vivid memories of being like 3 years old in my mom's minivan in like way northwestern New York, hearing like John Mellencamp songs and mixed in with like Marilyn Manson for some reason, like just like the weird like duality of man type stuff. But I've always like been around it. It's always been a really big part of my life. But like, I would say like the first time I like really like fell in love with music was around the time that I moved to Indiana. I was still like 5 or 6, and I remember hearing on X103 when it was still X103,
Yes.
when the Black Parade first came out, and hearing Welcome to the Black Parade on 103, and just like 6-year-old Cam like losing his goddamn mind. I'm just like, yo, I want to do that. That's
Yes.
sick. And my dad was like, okay, sick. That'd be cool. And like hearing like American Idiot in the car and everything, like on the way to like hockey practice and everything, was always like a really big part of my life. So like pop punk is like where like I started, and kind of like always like find myself somehow bringing everything back to, which is super weird, especially when you're in like a dark synthy pop twinkly band. So.
How did we get here? One time, I was in the car with my mom. I think I was 11, and my mom really liked country music back then, which is so weird because now she's into the music that I write, kind of like the same style. Not my music; she hates my music, but I mean the same genre. So she was skipping through her songs in her iPod Nano. Like, what? I think those are in museums now. But she was flipping, and I just hear, "No, I will tell," and I'm like, "Can you go back, Mom?" And she's like, "Are you sure it's kind of depressed?" I was like, "Go back."
That happened to me and my dad in Lincoln Park. I remember that. That is so funny.
But long story short, it was Going Under by Evanescence. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard. So I guess it started with Evanescence, and then it was Pushed Along by Flyleaf. That was what enhanced that feeling for me. Just I was already kind of teetering on being emo, and then Flyleaf's like, oh, you are. It's too late. You are emo. We've got a couple singles planned, and then not really telling a whole lot of people, but at the same time, it's like super exciting. We have a conceptual EP coming out too that's going to kind of tell the story of Plain Jane. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, right now we're just in the process of arranging those singles because a lot of them are songs I've either started or kind of decided like, okay, I really want an outside perspective on this because I know I don't want to finish it. But the conceptual EP I wrote when I was first starting Plain Jane myself, but that's what pushed me to start the solo project.
I'm going